It is a magnificent day on the left coast. San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium, San Diego, California. Rain the last couple of days, but as the Aztecs take the field, this is just the kind of day that you dream for. Mild temperatures. Wind will not be a factor. And the locals whooping it up for their ball club that they think can go a long, long way. The Air Force Academy coming into this ball game tonight, Mike, with a situation where, yeah, you got one guy to stop who wears number 28, Marshall Faulk, but on the other hand, more weapons than just Faulk. Number 6, Darnay Scott, a wide receiver for the Aztecs, who many pro scouts feel could be as much of an impact player as even the Heisman Trophy candidate. The standings in the WAC Conference: San Diego State at 3-0, Hawaii at 3-1, and then comes the Air Force Academy at 3-2, along with Brigham Young University. Fisher DeBerry, the head man for the Air Force Academy, 8th year. 70 wins, 35 losses, and 1 tie, and probably understands the parameters of what he has to work with better than any coach in the country, Mike.
Well, tonight his best defense could be his offense if they can control the football and keep Marshall Faulk on the sidelines with the wishbone offense.
Well, and one of the things that Mike is talking about is the fact that Air Force won the toss, and rather than defer to the second half, they want the football. As you look at Al Luganville, 4th year at San Diego State, 23 wins, 15 losses, and 3 ties. But Air Force won the toss, and they want to put the offense out there because just of what Mike Godfrey was talking about, and that is the fact they'd like to take the football and keep that offense of San Diego State on the other side of the field. Chris Washington, number 8. See his longest 38 of the year, an average of 27.2, and he's flanked by Wayne Young, junior from Fort Washington, Maryland. Trackus will kick it off for San Diego State, and we're underway. And now let's have the Energizer starting lineups. First of all, on offense for the Falcons of the Air Force Academy. Don't see a lot of wishbones anymore, but this is one of the best. And Jarvis Baker comes back home to the state of California to run. He'd like to go out in style. He's a senior. The leading receiver for the Air Force Academy last year and his favorite target this year, Clarence Hopkins, number 80. And up front, Jim Rimsey, number 76, a senior out of Rockford, Illinois, has come back from injury and handled it well. Pitch to Young. Now a late flag comes in as he will have a couple.
Gain of 2 yards. Tackle by number 15, Chris Johnson, a penalty flag on the field.
It's going to be offensive holding against the Air Force Academy. Let's meet the defensive starters for San Diego State, a very active down 3. Jamal Duff, number 48, though, a sophomore out of Tustin, California, a real impact player, and he's a big one at 6'7", 250. The linebackers, well, Tracy Mao, number 58, out of Linwood, California. He's the best of that linebacking core. And in the secondary, they move Pieri from free safety over to corner, and he has done an excellent job this year. Very steady player. One wide receiver splits out to the top of your screen. That's Scott Hufford, number 18. Jarvis pitches this one back, though. Onaha across the 25 and all the way to the 27-yard line. Pieri knocks him out of bounds. Obasi Onaha. His name is John. That's what his head coach likes to call him, but his teammates say he tells them he wants to go by Obasi.
Ron, you see here they have the 3 linemen here, and then there's another receiver outside here, so they have an unbalanced line. Only 2 linemen on the back side. When that happens, San Diego State's going to have to move over a man because they're a man short. and that's why they were able to spring the option.
This time Onaha will be hit and denied the first down. It's going to be third down as Mark Roberts, one of the first men to come across and make contact along with Steen, number 42.
Ron, that's the player, number 37, Mark Roberts, because the way San Diego State lines their defense up, it's very difficult for Air Force to block the middle linebacker. He's stacked behind the nose guard. They have both guards covered. Tough to block for Air Force.
C-37, Mark Roberts, only a sophomore out of Bakersfield. He does the defensive signal calling. Baker again with the pitch, this time to Young, comes to the near side and steps out of bounds. He's going to have the first down for Air Force out at the 36.5-yard line. Griffith pushes him out.
Another unbalanced line for Air Force. They put the extra lineman to the right. Now they have an extra man to block on the option. You'll see the pitch to Wayne Young, number 31. He'll pick up the first down because now you have helmets on everybody on the option play.
One of the things that the Air Force Academy will just drive you crazy with is this right here. You had them deep in a hole, but they run that wishbone to perfection, and they pick up the first down. They want to use the clock. Baker to throw. Throwback screen, and there was no running back out there. Obasi Onaha had come on down the sideline, and now here comes a marker at the 34-yard line. Onaha had taken off on a fly route.
I think the way this is going to be called, the Eagle lineman downfield has to be.
Jack Baker from the WAC, of course, our referee tonight.
It was a screen, but the screen receiver got beyond the line of scrimmage. If he would have stayed behind the line of scrimmage, then your lineman can go downfield.
It was hard to tell if Pastorello, the fullback, or if Onaha was the intended receiver. And if, Mike, you're right, he was not only beyond the line of scrimmage. Speaking of Onaha, he was way down at the 45-yard line of San Diego State.
That play was a bust from the start. The umpire made the call. He watched as the linemen were downfield, then watched as the ball to the receiver was across the line of scrimmage.
Jarvis Baker, a senior, and I mentioned that he is from California. He's from Fairfield. And as the coaching staff looks at him, they say he gets better every week. He has been over 100 yards personally rushing for the last 3 ball games. Quarterback draw. Pass by. Has 10 and counted off at 11 yards as Chris Johnson will bump him out of bounds, but he will put the Air Force Academy back with a second down and just over 5.
Well, we talked about how you have to control number 37. This is the way you control him, with misdirection. See, number 37, Mark Roberts, takes himself out of the play because as the quarterback opened up, he moved in that direction, and then Jarvis Baker ran back against the grain. So Mark Roberts has to slow down a little bit.
That's Hopkins up at the top of your screen. Straight ahead with the fullback, and Pastorello barrels his way close to a first down, and he may have it from what the linesman on this side has marked at the 43. Pieri and Steen combining on the stop, and it is Air Force first down.
Ron, as this drive starts, this is what drives you crazy if you're coaching against the option, the wishbone, because the clock's moving. Your offense is on the sidelines. They're grinding time up. They're just 4 yards at a clip is a successful play for the Air Force.
Clock running with 13 minutes and 20 seconds. About to be 20 seconds left in this opening quarter. 2 wideouts this time, and Baker comes to the short side of the field, pitches it back. Wow, Young is really stung by Pieri.
The pitch to number 31, Wayne Young.
The option makes you stay disciplined. Now here comes the option right at you in your living room. Now there's people assigned to the dive, then there's people assigned to the quarterback, and now you have Damon Pieri out of the secondary, takes the pitch.
That was very nicely played as you look at the Barry Lamb, the defensive coordinator. Very nicely played by Chris Johnson, number 15. You could see him on Baker, and as if to say, don't shake your head at me because I'm not going with your fake. Wants to throw it. Zings it complete to his tight end, Wilkie. And that will be another Air Force first down, just shy of the San Diego State 45-yard line.
We talk about flow of the option. When the flow goes to the left, now everything's going to go to the left, and the tight end is going to be open on the right side over here because everybody's going to move in this direction. Because of the option and because of the strength of it, now the throwback by Jarvis Baker, and look how wide open the tight end, Peter Wilkie.
Pieri made that stop. There's not a family of Pieris in the secondary. He has already made 4 tackles. I just want to tell you that. Whoa. Ball is handed off, and Onaha gets belted at the line of scrimmage. It's 93, Sebastian Glaze. He's a junior out of Northridge.
The stop by number 93, Sebastian Glaze.
Interesting, Glaze. That last name is spelled G-L-A-Z-E. A couple of years ago, I thought when I did him it was Glaze, but it's now Glaze. So if you are familiar with him, I want you to understand that that's the pronunciation.
Ron, this is the pass formation here that the Air Force likes.
That's what he wants to do. Now he's going to run. Nobody at home on the right side. Gets one block. Baker down to the 35.5-yard line. Chris Johnson is there to make the tackle.
When they break the wishbone, the Air Force, they like to throw out of this formation because they get both their tailbacks up in the wing set. You see now the little motion coming back. They will run the option out of that formation, but it's basically their pass offensive set.
And you could see Tracy Mao, number 58, got caught too far upfield, got bumped, and was taken out of the play.
Just thinking ahead as they measure for the first down, you're the offensive coordinator of San Diego State. You have to be a little concerned that your guys come on the field and then want to make something happen so quick because Air Force holds the ball so long, and you know you're only going to get so many plays.
Well, what Mike is talking about, it's 11:25 left in this opening quarter. That's not a great amount of time, but the way the Air Force Academy is moving at about 4.5 yards a clip, and they're in the 35, you consider that they might need 5, 6, 7 more plays if they are to score. At least they're going to eat up 6, 7, 8 minutes on this drive if they continue the way they are right now. And that's the point that you make. You might have to do offensive calisthenics on the sideline again. Running play. Young loses the ball. Battle for it. San Diego State has the recovery at the 34.
Oh, a nice drive. Ron comes to a close on a turnover. Air Force decides to run the pitch play to Wayne Young, number 31, to try to pick up the yard. But you see the penetration San Diego State is able to get. Damon Pieri, number 39, is going to recover the fumble. See the players up the field. Ramondo Stallings
caused the fumble. Scott in motion. They pitch it back to him. Runs into his own man. Then is going to be double teamed and knocked down after a 5-yard gain. And let's meet the Aztecs on offense. Marshall Faulk, the Heisman Trophy candidate out of New Orleans, Louisiana. We'll talk a lot about him tonight. Wide receiver Darnay Scott. A lot of the pro scouts say he could be as much of an impact player as Faulk when he goes to the pros in a couple of years. And up front, Carson Leomidi, 6'3", 340. Feet like a ballerina. A very large ballerina.
It's a double pass, Ron.
Comes to Faulk. Runs it back, and he can't throw because it was a lateral. He's going to go all the way to the other side of the field and will have a couple of yards. Mike Rogers defensively for the Air Force Academy. Now let's meet the starters on defense for the Falcons. On the down 3, Curtis Sutton. He's a junior. He's still only 19 years of age. Very good player, too. Linebackers very active. Watch out for Virgil Simpson. He is far and away the best of the linebackers at rushing the quarterback. And in the secondary, All-American candidate Carlton McDonald, number 3, a senior from Jacksonville, Florida. Well, you can see Air Force move, and then a quick snap by Mike Alexander, the center.
San Diego State opened with 2 trick play types. First one was a reverse to Darnay Scott. And the second one, I think, was supposed to be a double pass. Marshall Faulk catching the ball, then throwing it.
Now Loganville knows that this Air Force Academy team can be a thorn in the side because they have been in the past. His club picks up their initial first down of the night by way of penalty. Williams and Scott to the near side, but it's Falk. Goes for 5, 6, and 7. He'll be across midfield as the Aztecs for the first time tonight in Falcon territory. Second in the nation, 993 yards, an average of 7.1 and 10 touchdowns. Mike, probably the most interesting thing about him is in that opening ball game against Southern Cal. We'll show you some numbers about what he did against the Trojans and then add up what everybody else has done for the rest of the year. And that's for those people to say, well, he plays in a conference we don't know a lot about, so therefore the competition can't be that good. Wrong. Quick out pass. It's to Falk. And right at the first down line is Mike Rogers. Makes the stop. Mike, look at this. Rushing against USC. 27 carries, 220 yards. And these are total yards below here. Total offensive rushing yards by these teams against SC. Cal, Washington, Oklahoma, and Oregon. That's pretty doggone impressive.
Pretty impressive.
And of course, as the season goes on, he becomes even more a marked man. To the 40. It's going to be Armour, a senior out of Lake Village, Arkansas, who plays the Falcon on defense. And with that carry right there, he now has 1,000 yards. Marshall Falk, quickest to reach 1,000 yards rushing, his 6th game. Wayne Pittman will come in spelling him. That should have been the trivia question of the night. Who's the guy that plays behind Marshall Falk? Here's Wayne. He's a sophomore from right here in San Diego. Pass over the middle, complete to Simonik, the tight end, junior from Scottsdale, Arizona. That is a first down for the Aztecs of San Diego State. It's a gain of 11.
Well, Luganville says the number 11, David Lowery, is the player that makes his team motor. He said he has a lot of fun playing the game, and when he's hot, we're hot.
David, a junior out of Mission Viejo, 6 feet, 200 pounds. Nobody behind the quarterback. Pass over the middle, incomplete. And that time they wanted Ziegler, the other tight end, sophomore from here in San Diego, and it was Jason Bowers who was coming pell-mell after the quarterback, causing him to throw it quickly.
Well, when you empty the backfield like that, you really cut down on the number of people that can protect for you. Jason Bowers came off the weak side because they released the tight end.
Good matchup to the bottom part of your screen this time as Carlton McDonald, the All-American candidate, works against number 6 Darnay Scott. You can see Scott there in the bottom of the screen. But they go the other way with that one, well overthrown. DeAndre Maxwell is who he wanted.
Number 13, DeAndre Maxwell.
Mike, are you a little surprised with the running attack that they have, and he is throwing the ball quite as much as he is right here?
No, it's a one-back offense, so sometimes you start with a throwing game to open up the running game, but it's apparent that their strategy is when they go to 2 tight ends that they're going to get the ball to Marshall Falk on the running game. When they open it up, they're going to throw the football.
This is the 9th play of the drive. 7:43 left to play opening quarter and no score. And Lowery wants to call a timeout, so we'll take it with him. No score. San Diego State and the Air Force Academy. 43 left to play in this opening quarter. Air Force Academy had the football first this evening. 9 plays, turned it over on a fumble. And now for San Diego State, this is the 10th play of this drive. As Lowery set in the pocket, caught from behind, and he will be sacked. Virgil Simpson, the man we talked about in the lineups tonight, a senior from Houston, Texas, out of Reagan High School.
I talked to Marshall Falk on campus on Thursday. He said Virgil Simpson's the most underrated player that they played this year, number 97. Here he just beats the block of Tony Nichols, number 73, and creates the sack on David Lowery.
Also, you can see Chris James, a senior out of San Antonio, as you look at Virgil. Chris James came in to help out as well. And it's punting time for San Diego State. Keep an eye on number 3, Carlton McDonald. He has backed off the line of scrimmage, but in special teams, Air Force is very good at blocking the football. This is a pooch kick. So let's take a break. 6:54 left in this opening quarter. Still no score. ESPN's presentation of college football is being brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. Marshall Faulk on the sidelines. He has gone over 1,000 yards tonight in this ball game, in a scoreless ball game midway of the opening quarter. Parisi is coming to the lineup at fullback, and at Wishbone for the Air Force Academy. Also Antone Banks, number 33, but straight ahead it's Parisi. Joe is a junior from Arvada, Colorado. Coaches say playing much better. 5'10", 190-pound junior.
Number 39, Joe Parisi. Shot by number 48, Jamal Dow. Pickup of 2 yards.
See Chris Washington, number 8, and Banks. So a new set of running backs in this third series for the Air Force Academy, or second series. Baker to throw for the tight end, has it complete to Wilkie, and out of bounds around the 40-yard line. Darrell Lewis pushes him out.
Air Force with the option. Now you're going to see Wilkie run in the void because they will try to roll up on the wishbone. Now here comes Air Force into the sideline. You see Damon Pierre try to roll up, so they are able to hit Peter Wilkie inside the safety.
This time back to the open side of the field. Baker will keep it, and he'll have 3 as Chris Johnson comes over to make the hit on him.
Air Force is getting in a rhythm on this defense. San Diego State is running a 46 defense. It's a lot like Mike Ditka's Chicago Bear defense, but they've just tinkered with it a little bit to effectively go against the option. But Air Force is going to pretty well see the same look on every play, which gives them an opportunity to try to devise something against this defense because it won't change.
Yeah, because they're making 3-4 yards.
Pressure from the backside. He just throws it away. Looks as though Peter Wilkie was the guy that he wanted. Chris Johnson, though, the free safety, was coming on the blitz. And let's go to Adrian Karsten.
Well, Ron, the defensive coaches for the Aztecs thinks that those guys out there are doing a pretty darn good job stopping the option by assignment. It's the technique they're concerned about. I can tell you from experience, if you let the guy get inside of you and you turn your shoulders, don't keep your shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, it's almost impossible to get back to the ball carrier.
Thanks, Adrian. 3rd down, and the line to make is just short of the 50-yard line for the Air Force. Baker with his pass almost intercepted by Pierre. Oh, my goodness. Damon had a lot of open field on this side of the stadium to run with.
Jarvis Baker was trying to get the ball to number 80, Clarence Hopkins, but it was well covered.
Chris McInnes will come in to punt. See his average of 42.7 on 31 punts. And that's Patterson. Ray Patterson, a redshirt freshman from New Orleans. From the 14, fumbles the ball, gets a good hop, and then 42 yards on that kick, and I mean awfully good coverage by the Air Force Academy. Take a look at this bobble here, Mike.
As you see number 28 come in. Here's the fumble. Hit him right in the helmet. Ray Peterson, number 17, hit him right in the head.
Well, ESPN resumes its exclusive coverage of Thursday night CFA this week. First, it's the weekend kickoff show at 7:45, and then the Golden Eagles of Southern Mississippi travel to Greenville, North Carolina to take on the East Carolina Pirates, led by exciting quarterback Michael Anderson. I'll be joined by Mike and Jerry Punch this Thursday. Coverage begins 7:45 this Thursday on ESPN. Quick pass. Keith Williams, and Keith will take it around the 20-yard line. Chris Baker, one of the first men to get there for the Air Force Academy. Also, Jason Bowers came over to help out.
Ron, I think you'll see now that they'll settle down and start running the football with number 28, Marshall Faulk. They opened this game with some reverses and some trick plays and throwing the quick passes, but they know now that they've got to eventually get the ball to 28.
The two tight ends are in, Simonik and Ziegler.
It's a running formation for him.
Faulk to the right side will have the first down as he crosses the 25. The national rushing leaders, Faulk with 198.6 is his average per game. Hurst of Georgia, 151. Then Kirby of Virginia, Cobb at Rice, and Morrell, West Virginia. Trevor Cobb of Rice, 125 yards. A young man that does not get nearly enough credit. Outstanding football player and an outstanding young man as well. Blitz is on. Pass is thrown complete. Darnay Scott shoved out of bounds close to the first down line at the 36. That was Chris James putting on the pressure.
Well, they spread you out so much on offense because they're able to take a Marshall Faulk, who's a great running back, and motion him out. Now you have Darnay Scott. You just really stretch the field. And you see the hitch, and the ball takes a long time to get out there. Carlton McDonald's way off of Darnay Scott, number 6. San Diego State likes the little hitch. Eventually it'll be a hitch and go for a big play to number 6.
And Mike, they feel as though every time that they can get single coverage, as you look at the week that he had last week, 274, his total for the game on 12 catches. Anytime they get man coverage, they're up some. Maxwell is who he wanted on that one. They don't think anybody really can cover Scott one-on-one.
No, he's an excellent receiver. He talked about Carlton McDonald. He has a lot of respect for Carlton McDonald. He told us yesterday that he felt like he likes to bite on some routes, but he says he's very aggressive and a good athlete. He said, I just got to work hard against him this whole ball game.
Good look at Carlton. So we said Carlton not only is really good at his position at corner, he is a great special teams player. On kick blocks. Again, pressure from the outside. Lowry's going to run it. And he will get a couple, and that's it. That's Virgil Simpson who will run him down. Bowers, the first man to come and apply pressure.
Well, the first thing you have to think about is if you're wondering at home, why is 28, Marshall Faulk, not running the football? It's because Air Force is lining up in an 8-man front. Jason Bowers, number 45, puts pressure on David Lowry, but they're trying to force San Diego State into throwing the football. So that should open Darnay Scott, number 6, if it's an 8-man front football game.
Well, let's watch it. Number 6. It is third down. The line to make the 46 of San Diego State. Looking, still looking, pass incomplete. And I'll tell you, that time McDonald, as I was able to watch him, Mikey, did a good job of bump and run on him and wouldn't let him get into the pattern.
Well, when you get San Diego State in third and long, then you can play man under, and that's exactly what Carlton McDonald's doing. He's that man under on Darnay Scott, and he has help deep. That's why he's able to take some chances underneath, because he's got 2 safeties behind him.
Keep an eye for number 3 and the punt block of the Air Force Academy. And they got 2 men on him this time. It's a wobbly short kick. Fair catch called for and made at the 28 by Brian Watkins. 34 yards in the kick. No score. 3:06 left opening quarter. Carlton McDonald, the All-American cornerback candidate. And on the other side of the field, Marshall Faulk, wondering when this Air Force defense is going to quit raining on his parade. We've almost played 12 minutes in this opening quarter, and on a couple of series, not really anything of note as far as he is concerned. Straight ahead, this is Pastorello, who has come back in at fullback in the wishbone, replacing Parisi. Mark Roberts hits him at the line of scrimmage.
Number 37, Mark Roberts, talked about the fact that he has the dive. You see him sitting back behind the middle guard. Not really a chance to block him. Somebody has to come off a block. Otherwise, he's going to get a free tackle on that dive.
Pick up of 2 yards.
Baker down the line of scrimmage, cuts it back into the middle. San Diego State has done an excellent job of defending that. Mike, how much of a difference does it make that they saw an option team last week in UTEP?
Well, it helps them, but what happens in practice during the week when you practice against your scout team, your third team guys, they can simulate the offense, but not at the speed that you're going to see it in the game. It's taken them 2 series now to get used to the speed of the Air Force attack.
Of course, I guess conversely, it is good for Air Force because they saw the defenses that San Diego State ran against UTEP.
The adjustments that they'll see against their different sets.
Play action, wants to throw it. Backside, has it complete, and this time it is Thompson. Inside the 45, and it's going to be tackled out of bounds around the 40. Darrell Lewis got it.
This pass is here anytime Air Force wants to take it. Because when you run the option, now watch the option, it's going to the right. Everybody moves to the right with Jarvis Baker. Now you look backside, wide open, number 15, Tom Thompson. Everybody's so anxious to stop the run that they're leaving the whole backside open to throw the football.
26 yards of the pass play. Omaha comes out of the ball game. And number 18, Scott Hufford, wide receiver, comes in. Right up the middle, though, with Pastorello, the fullback. Joe, a junior from Anaheim, California. He had a 63-yard run against Wyoming this year. Really a blue-collar type, but that 63-yarder, his longest of the season.
I'm Brett Ingles, the offensive coordinator of San Diego State. I'm drawing up 3 running plays for Marshall Faulk right now. So that when I get back on the field, I'm not throwing the football. I'm going to give it to Marshall Faulk.
A good point, Mike. 1:15 left in this opening quarter. Still no score between the Air Force Academy and San Diego State. Washington tripped up just as he got to the point of turning the corner, and Chris is stopped by Darrell Lewis.
Well, we talk about Mark Roberts, number 37, no one being able to block him. The way you do block him is go to an unbalanced line, so you do get the extra blocker in the back. Joe Pastorello, number 34, comes out of the backfield and chops Mark Roberts, and there's just no one there then on the quarterback.
Third down, they need a couple. Baker on the corner, pitches it back to Washington, gets one block, but I'll tell you, the running back ran right by Gary Taylor, and I believe he caused him missing the first down.
I tell you, Tom Thompson, number 15, had a great crackback block, which sets up this play, but Gary Taylor, again, the unbalanced line. Now watch the crackback block right there. Number 15, Tom Thompson makes that block, but Gary Taylor slips underneath the block of the running back to make the tackle.
It was Wayne Young who took a shot at him, but only got a piece of him. That's a good play by Gary Taylor. Chris McGinnis does both punt and place kick. And that is the end of the first quarter. So we'll take a break. End of the first 15. No score. And they need just under 1. They're going to go for it. Baker will have it at the 31-yard line. By the way, rushing yardage in that opening quarter for San Diego State, 19. Faulk had 16 of them.
What has to be a key for San Diego State, every time they go to the unbalanced line, they have ran in that direction. So Fisher DeBerry with a new set with the unbalanced line, trying to get the extra blocker versus the 8-man front.
Straight up the middle with the fullback, and let's go to Tim Brando quickly.
Ron, while you and Mike may be watching the front runner for the Heisman Trophy, we are going to keep you abreast of what's happening with the current bridesmaid. That bridesmaid being Garrison Hurst, but he's moving up with a bullet. Those stats are after 7 games. Marshall, of course, having played the 5, but already you can add 30 more yards to that number. This is vintage Garrison Hurst. I mean, there was nothing there in the middle. He just bounces outside. That would lead to a field goal by Todd Peterson. 3-0 Dogs. Will keep you abreast.
Okay, Tim, thank you. Garrison Hurst, awfully talented young man. Pass complete to Wilkie. And the big tight end will have the first down. It is inside the 20-yard line. Damon Pierre defensively for the Aztecs.
Well, they're having trouble. San Diego State defending the pass off of play action. Baker goes to the right, starts to the right with a good play fake, and then you just got a one-on-one situation on the outside with Peter Wilkie versus Damon Pierre. Barry Lamb, the defensive coordinator, has to be concerned about these opening drives of Air Force.
No score, but the Falcons are threatening. Straight ahead with the fullback again, and Pastorello, the junior from Anaheim, goes down to the vicinity of the 10. Mark Roberts holding on to him.
It's amazing when you throw the ball successfully with the wishbone, it just opens up the fullback all of a sudden.
Number 18, it's Scott Hufford. He's a big play guy, has the good speed, wide receiver coming into the ball game for the Air Force Academy. It's 2nd down, and they really have a down to play with here, so to speak. 2nd down and 3. They keep it on the ground, and Pastorelli, going to have a gain of 3, short by 1. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Well, the Cadets just inside the 10-yard line now. I was looking over the shoulder of the coaching staff during our last commercial break. Expect to see, if I was reading their chalkboards right, more non-option plays. The traps, counter ISOs, that type of thing. Type of plays that beat San Diego State last year.
Yes, I was going to comment that it was not the option plays that gave the Aztecs trouble last year. It was just the opposite.
Well, in these option plays that he's reading right here, he's reading the option. He's giving the ball to the fullback on his first read.
Parisi in at fullback. Pastorelli shaken up on the last play. But the pitch comes to Onaha, and he is at the 1-foot line. Pierre makes the touchdown-saving tackle. It is a first down for the Air Force Academy. They're a foot away.
Air Force is just knocking San Diego State off the ball. Now you see the 2 backs. Number 8,
Washington.
Chris Washington leading the blocking. You see the good block by Peter Wilkie, number 85, at the point of attack. Just nice job blocking at the point of attack.
Baker with the quarterback sneak. Touchdown, Air Force.
Number 5, Jarvis Baker, the ball carrier, 1 yard. Air Force touchdown.
The marching band from the Air Force Academy has journeyed here from Colorado Springs, and they strike up their fight song. McGinnis will attempt the extra point, trying to put the Falcons on top by a count of 7-0. Kick is off to the right and no good.
Is no good.
One more look as Jarvis Baker, the senior from Fairfield, California, on a quarterback sneak, takes it in. 6-0, the Air Force Academy on top. 11:40 left to play until halftime. Time of possession in this ball game so far, and we mentioned early the good way to stop Marshall Faulk is to keep him on the sideline. 11:49 Air Force Academy, only 6:31 for San Diego State. That was Darnay Scott you were looking at, number 6. The ever-dangerous wide receiver for the Aztecs, and he'll get a shot at this one. Scott from the 10. At the 50, pushed out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Alex Armour, and San Diego State got away with a push in the back at the 20-yard line on the kick return. And Mike, you're nodding your head. You saw the same thing.
I agree. I think they get away with one here. And Darnay Scott, you're going to see a push right in the middle of your screen, right there.
Right there.
In the middle on number 45. Now it's got to be a run situation. They have to. San Diego State has to make sure they start running the football to Air Force.
Falk bounces outside. 5, 10, 15. Still on his feet. Inside the 20. First and 10 Aztecs.
Ron, there's a real mismatch in the offensive line and the defensive line of Air Force. Air Force is going to move. They're down front. Here you see Marshall Faulk. Now, there's nothing there, but he's such a good athlete that he skates to the outside and picks up valuable yardage. I'd just keep calling run plays. They're going to have to show me they can stop Marshall Faulk running the football.
I agree with you. Faulk hitting the backfield, breaks off the tackle. Inside the 10. Eldrick Hill.
Well, people outside in television land are wondering whether or not he's a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate. Here you see again, Air Force looped to the left side in great shape, but just didn't wrap up on Marshall Faulk. And if you don't wrap up on him, he keeps his feet moving. He has such strong lower body that you just can't bring him down.
That was Joe Heinz, 66, who plays weak guard, who came back with a very good block on the play. Faulk again. Turns the corner. Bauer is one of the first men, along with Mike Rogers, to make contact on him, and he's going to be close to the first down.
So it becomes a guessing game for San Diego State and Air Force. Air Force is moving their line on every play, and they'll either move it left or right. If they guess right, then they're going to get extra players at the point of attack. If they guess wrong, they're going to be short, and somebody from the secondary has to come up and help. Eventually look for San Diego State to start running that tailback counter, the old Washington Redskin counter to the backside.
Yeah.
To really give some problems this Air Force defense.
Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Ron and Mike, something's becoming very evident on this drive is the size difference between this huge offensive line for the Aztecs and now a terribly small defensive line for Air Force. But the Aztecs outweigh these guys 60 pounds per man. Now, it sounds simple, but it's true. One of the reasons Faulk is so successful is he just kind of hides behind these guys. I mean, take a look at Liamini at 350 pounds. Faulk is only 5'10", hide behind that 350 of Liamini. He just pops right out of there and gets to the side.
Faulk now with 6 carries, 43 yards, and that's right on his average because he averages at 7.1 per try. 6-0. The Air Force Academy on top, but the Aztecs are threatening on a third down and very short. Wide open. Tight end Simonek, touchdown San Diego State. Check it, Ziegler, 85. Trackus to attempt the extra point. He got it, and it's a one-point game. And Tim Brando, let's get an update from you.
More vintage Garrison Hearst. Now, Mike and Ron, take a look at it. He stops. Boom, right there. Jets outside. 52 yards. He has more yards rushing than the entire Kentucky team coming in. 6 rushes for 89 yards. The Garrison update continues while Marshall is on the air live.
7-6 is our count now, Tim, with 9:53 left until halftime, and they finally decided that they were going to showcase this gentleman on every play. And this is what they look like if you want a Heisman debate. Entering tonight, 199, 152 the averages per game, 7-1 compared to 8-2 for Hurst. 10 touchdowns and 15 for Garrison.
Ross Perot's missing in there, and that's Gino Torretta, the third independent. We'll throw Lee Corso, and I'll throw him in there.
Without the haircut.
Don't rule him. Don't rule him out yet.
Marshall Faulk.
Cal McCombs, the defensive coordinator, getting good play out of his defense. He knows now that he's going to face the run, which will eventually then open up the passing game to Darnay Scott. Which way you want to take your poison with the San Diego State offense?
Andy Trakas to kick it off. This one will bound and be taken at the 1-yard line by Wayne Young. Young waited to the last minute as that ball was hooking. Looked as though it might gone out of bounds or was close to it, and then he had to take it at the 1. So he only gets 14 on the return.
And the touchdown that San Diego State scored. They brought an extra tight end. You see him in number 87 to make it look like it was going to be a running play to Marshall Faulk. Then slipped number 85, Mark Ziegler, out in the flat after a good fake by David Lowry. Excited David Lowry, the quarterback. Nice throw.
Jarvis Baker takes it back into the middle out to the 20-yard line. And Tracy Mao, a senior from Linwood.
One of the problems when you play in the WAC conference is every team you play usually throws the football. Now all of a sudden you have to change your whole philosophy because you have to guard against a chop block. They're chopping you on the option, blocking you around your ankles. Usually you're facing pass protection. So it's a totally different scheme you have to get ready for with the Air Force.
Hoffert to the bottom of your screen, but it's a running play with Antone Banks. Antone will have a couple, but it's going to be third down, Air Force Academy. A couple of touchdowns for Banks last week. He is out of Laurinburg, North Carolina, 6'2", 200 pounds, and the coaches like the way he's been playing. Thompson comes into the ball game at wide receiver as the Air Force Academy uses the wideouts to shuttle their plays. 7-6 San Diego State on top, and we have 8:40 left until halftime. Onaha hit behind the line of scrimmage. He will not have the first down.
That's one way to take the option away. Force the pitch right away.
Provenzal and Darrell Lewis with the good defensive play.
Brought number 34, Robert Griffith, right on Jarvis Baker. Made him force the pitch. Darrell Lewis is up on the pitch to keep them from getting the first down.
So McGinnis kicking away to number 17, Ray Peterson. And San Diego State stands to get some decent field position out of this. Not a good kick. Breaks it away for 12, almost 15 yards, and he came within a step of breaking it away. 40 yards in the kick. Let's take a break. 7-6, Aztecs.
Bud Dry is one beer that drinks easy like a light and has real draft taste. So why not come around to something refreshingly different? Try Bud Dry.
Good morning, America!
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wake up, you sleepyhead. Good morning to you. And you, and you.
Get up, get out of bed.
Every morning all across America, over 50 million people come to life with Delta faucets.
Live, love, laugh, and be happy.
Good morning, good morning.
Delta,
good
the way
morning
water is brought to life.
Has the simple joy of driving become a casualty of the times? Introducing 200 turbocharged horses. Uncanny grace. And one of the safest cars Saab has ever built. The new 9000 CSE. A car you can drive hard with your conscience intact.
The temperature never drops below Xerex. That's very important to remember at a time like this, when it's very cold and you've got to get going. Ah, you did remember Xerex antifreeze. The temperature never drops below Xerex.
Colorado meets Nebraska in a game that could determine the Big 8 championship. And national title contender Miami hunts down West Virginia on ESPN.
Well, that's where we'll be next week, Miami. Mike Adrian and myself, Gino Toretto and company, taking on West Virginia. Well, tripped up behind the line of scrimmage, and he'll have only one. Curtis Sutton got a hand on him.
But Curtis Sutton really played that one well. That's the counter trey we were talking about. And he followed the blocking of the two trapping the guard and the tackle, slipped underneath them, and was able to make the play on Marshall Faulk.
It's Keith Williams, number 81, the junior from Lodi, California, who comes in. Number 6, Darnay Scott, will go out.
Here's the 8-man front by Air Force, so it should be a check off to a throw, but they're in a running formation.
They pull Liamidi. Lowry wanted to throw it, then gets hit, tipped again, and only because of lack of communication, the Air Force Academy should have had an interception on that one.
Boy, ill-advised throw by David Lowry, too, because he's in a position, he just got too close to the line of scrimmage.
Well, Moody is the one who's going to whack him here. Watch this.
David Lowry's waiting for somebody to open. There's Carson Liamidi, number 71, right there with him, and he knew as soon as he threw it, it was going to be picked off, but it was dropped.
Carson, for 340 pounds, as we mentioned in the lineups, is extremely graceful. Maybe hard to realize, but he is. He moves so well, and you can tell that they would pull him on a play like that. Timeout called by the Aztecs. 7:04. And let's go to Tim Brando and get an update from you.
Boston College taking on Tulane down in New Orleans, and take a look at Sean Meadows. He'll look for Will Urson here. This is a 76-yard strike. Boston College, one of those top teams that must sustain their credibility. Right now they're down 7 midway through the first quarter.
And a little of the after effects after that Penn State game.
Could be. And a little styling on Bourbon Street after the score. The Greenies on top 7-0. Boston College is a really good football team, though, aren't they?
Tom Coughlin has done an outstanding job coaching that football team, and took over for a great coach, Jack Bicknell, and he's sustaining the program.
I tell you, you want to know what these kids go through that are highly touted. Marshall Faulk is only a sophomore. They said agents have tried just about every trick out here. Week before last, they had one to just walk out on the practice field. Going to try to talk to him right there in the middle of practice.
That'll make open season on agents.
Put a sniper up there, huh? 3rd down and very long. Flag comes down. Pass is thrown complete. Faulk will have the first down, but that marker has been thrown by the umpire. And it looked as though somebody had a necktie hold on Virgil Simpson, the outside backer for the Air Force Academy. Yep, that's what it was. There's Virgil.
Tony Nichols, number 73, at the top of your screen, doing all he can do to ride down Virgil Simpson there. 97.
Well, you know, the nickname of Tony Nichols is Gilligan, because he's left out there on that island, so to speak, at that offensive tackle position. And Gilligan got caught that time.
Seven to 6 if you've just joined us. The Aztecs on top as the Falcons missed their extra point. They scored first to go on top 6-0. Under 7 to play until halftime. Lowry deep over the middle, incomplete. Boy, Ray Peterson was open, had it, and just dropped it. Kicking time, and because of that long penalty, now the Air Force Academy is in a position to get some good field position.
Well, they're going to have great field position on this unless he just gets a great punt off.
Oatsball, number 10, and he'll be kicking away to Brian Watkins. Keep an eye on McDonald.
Studies the center's rhythm, so he knows what he's looking for.
San Diego State doubled him on the outside last time. Let's see if somebody else gets free. They're coming after him. Gets it away. End over end kick. And not much return. When you sell out going for the kick, you leave your return man alone, and that's what happened. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Riddick Bowe is ranked number 1 in the world. How he got there is simple. December 1991, knockout. April 1992, knockout. July 1992, knockout. On November 13th, Riddick Bowe will fight Evander Holyfield. Will Bowe be the next champion or just next? Budweiser presents Holyfield versus Bowe Heavyweight Championship Friday, November 13th, the Mirage, Las Vegas.
When it comes to families, one size doesn't fit all. That's why your minivan specialist has so many choices of caravans at the Dodge Minivan Store. From the luxurious all-wheel drive Grand Caravan to an economical caravan starting at just over $14,100. One size doesn't fit all, but there's one caravan to fit you, fit your budget, and the minivan specialist has it.
Visit your Gold Star Dodge dealer today for a great deal on your favorite Dodge car or truck.
The race to the White House. It's the final lap. Presidents have always brought to office their love of sports, throwing the first pitch or a post pattern.
And you are? Mario and you. Mario, I was talking to I had that feeling.
If Mike Ditka were running for president, I'm not sure I'd get my wife's vote. It'd be a real close deal.
From horseshoes to fox hunts to the Gipper, outside the lines, all the president's games, Tuesday on ESPN.
Well, Fox Ball Club on top 7-6 right now with 6:28 left until halftime. Lowest rushing games for him. 39 yards against Long Beach State, UCLA 79, and in Air Force 114, BYU and UCLA at 118 apiece. All of those games with the exception of the last one last season for Marshall Faulk. We'll have to see if the Air Force Academy can continue to contain him tonight. He has only 44. Straight ahead with the fullback, and that's Parisi. Breaks it open. Still on his feet inside the 40, and Darrell Lewis will stop him. We thought for the world he was going to be stopped after a 6-yard gain, and he makes it 21.
Joe Parisi, number 39, just refused to go down. Here's the fullback getting the football. Joe Parisi hit again, bounces off, poor tackling, then just runs through a tackle for big yardage.
It's awfully good balance as well, and it's a first down for the Air Force Academy. Clock running under 6 minutes until halftime. This time, nothing doing. Going to be a loss of 1. Tim Brando.
Garrison Hurst, Ron, is playing with a stomach virus, so he sat out one series. In fact, he's already back in the game. Here's what his replacement just did. Terrell Davis, 22 yards. It's 10-0. Dogs hunkering down in the Commonwealth.
Tim, you guys have to put him in the debate, too, now.
Touche. You watered down your case there, Timothy.
That'll be 4 guys in the debate. I don't know who that'd be in the presidential election.
Play will go nowhere, and I'll tell you what was going to happen. Hufford was going to come around and was going to pitch the ball back to him out of reverse. I don't know if the defense got there so quickly or Hufford was lined up too far off the ball.
Well, San Diego State decided to bring both their outside backers. Number 34, Robert Griffiths, is in a position that he would have got the pitch. So there was no pitch lane to try to get the reverse off.
And in looking at it from that angle, Hufford actually was not at fault. It was the quarterback, Jarvis Baker, deciding that I'm going to get in all kind of trouble if I pitch it. I'll hold on and take my medicine.
It's their passing formation.
He's going to go long. And it is intercepted by Darrell Lewis. Gives it to Pieri. And out of bounds at the 25-yard line.
It's a smart play by Darrell Lewis because he was stopped, but yet still had the ability to hand the ball off to Damian Pierre on the interception. Jarvis Baker lofts the ball just a little bit too long in the air. You see the interception. Now he stopped. He hands the ball off to Pierre. Good smart move. Another look. Ball is in the air too long. Overthrown. Darrell Lewis with the interception and a little pitch back, and Pierre picks up good yardage.
So San Diego State with 4:33 left to work with as the running play goes for a couple. Newby defensively will come up and hit Falk.
See, what's the problem for San Diego State in springing Marshall Faulk is it's a guessing game. And we talked about how the defensive line of Air Force is moving. And Cal McCombs, the defensive coordinator, is doing a nice job of confusing this offensive line of San Diego State.
All the angles have created some havoc tonight in a ball game that is barely over 1 hour old. That's the kind of game Air Force wants. Very quick. Falk, gain of a couple. Now it's going to be third down. That's Melzer, junior out of Arlington, Texas, who makes the tackle, the nose guard.
Marshall Faulk's a great back, and you know if you're coaching against him, Fisher DeVere on the sideline knows at any time that he can take it to distance. What they try to keep him is keep him away from the vertical seams, make him run north and south.
7-6, San Diego State on top. 3 minutes, 26 seconds left until halftime. Cuts it back into the middle. Has the first down, plus 5, 6, and 7 more. Johnny Harrison, a sophomore out of Sunrise, Florida, is there to make the stop for the Falcons.
You just got to keep going to it. Brett Ingles, the offensive coordinator, you know he's the bread and butter of this offense. Just keep giving him the football. See the nice cut that he was able to cut back against the grain. Johnny Harrison, 43, makes the tackle.
There you see the situation as we go under 3 minutes to play. Aztecs by 1. Lowry straight in the pocket, puts it up on top, looking for Scott, and Scott had a collision with Mike Rogers and came down, and Rogers was the closest man to the football.
Visited with Mike Rogers on the campus the other day. He compared Trevor Cobb of Rice. He said he's a bruising type running back, the one that you like so well. And he talked about Marshall Faulk. He says he has more speed and more elusive, but the Cobb was just a bruising back.
Trevor Cobb of Rice. He's having another outstanding year, his senior year. Little counter tray again. Faulk hit by 1, 2, 3 players, spins off, and he'll have a gain of 3.
And off the ball. Number 40, Eldrick Hill with the tackle.
Mike Rogers spent Wednesday at the Colorado Springs wastewater plant. He's a civil engineer major. And he said he went out there for 3 hours. He missed all his meetings. And sometimes he says only get 3 hours of sleep a night. They take 21, 22, 23 semester hours at the Air Force Academy. So
if Fisher DeBerry has talked about one of the problems he runs into as the season goes on is his kids not getting much sleep because of study time. Pass almost intercepted by Hill. Just a little bit overthrown. They wanted Ray Peterson. And it's 4th down in kicking time. The Air Force will get it back with 2:07 to play.
Air Force really had that covered well. Well, you're a wishbone team now with 2:07 to go. You have to throw the ball a little bit if you're going to use this clock to try to get in there and get the lead before halftime.
Coach Ball with his 4th punt of the night. And as you look at Brian Watkins, the sophomore out of Phoenix, in a single return. See if Air Force comes after him.
It looked to me like they're offside.
Kick has gotten away. Hanging spiral. Fair catch called for and made as a flag comes down at the 20-yard line. And I think it's going to be the 2-yard barrier thing, Mike. He was very, very close to it.
Well, all the kicks that they go after, Brian Watkins, number 2, there's not a whole lot of people back there to block and a return for him because they're usually trying to block the kick. So that means number 2, Brian Watkins, all back by himself.
Yeah, he was within that magic 2-yard barrier. Tim Brando, let's go to you.
Ron and Mike, Arizona's for real. This was a critical year for Dick Tomey. His program needed to come together, and it has. Dave Barr's pass tipped by Jim Huffman, picked off by Brandon Sanders. He sets free 40 yards. California, who beat Kansas, losing to Arizona 17-3.
Mike, that Arizona football team continues to impress everybody.
Dick Tomey's done a wonderful job, and they just keep coming back every week. They're playing with so much confidence.
So the penalty moves the ball out to the 26-yard line. 1:57 until halftime. Jeremy Johnson has checked into the lineup, a sophomore out of Golden, Colorado. He wears number 4. Normally lines up at that right halfback position. Onaha. And he'll have the first down. That's a gain of 11 yards right up the near sideline and stopping the clock at 1:51 as Taylor bumps him out defensively.
Ron, Peter Wilkie, number 85, made the block on Gary Taylor, number 23, and he just stayed with the block. And when you play a wishbone offense, you have to get off blocks. You can't stay on blocks long. You have to get off because of the pitch. Oh!
Parisi straight ahead. Has a couple. That's Terrell Steen. Puts a lock up on him. Well, coming up at halftime of the Delta Faucet Report, Garrison Hearst update. Also, Oklahoma at number 22, Kansas today. A little celebrating in Lawrence, I believe. And how good is Washington State? Those some of the subjects that they'll be talking about at halftime on the Delta Faucet Report. Jarvis Baker, the senior from Fairfield, on a little quarterback draw, and that's not going to go anywhere. 42, Terrell Steen again has him, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Well, they have 1:10 on the clock, Ron. They got 3 timeouts, but they're going to have to throw the football. Where they've had success throwing it is running the option one way and throwing back the other way to Wilkie, number 85. Tight ends both on the backside.
7-6, the Aztecs lead.
Try to get the ball to Hufford also. He's in the game, Ron. Scott Hufford.
He's the big play guy, number 18. Baker, late pitch. Jeremy Johnson will be well short of the first down. The minute you stop the flow to the wide side of the field with all the pursuit coming on an option like that, you're just inviting the entire county to come over and take a shot at you, and that's what happened.
Well, you'd like to string it out. You'd like to keep it moving across the field because then the cavalry comes from the inside.
Mm-hmm. Chris McGinnis, his 3rd kick of the night. That's Peterson. And the Aztecs with a return on. They kick it away from Peterson this time. And the youngster from New Orleans will not get an opportunity to return that one as the Air Force Academy says, well, we'll kick it out of bounds, but we won't let you get a cheap touchdown right here before intermission time. Well, be sure to be with us next Saturday as Mike, Adrian, and me will be at the Orange Bowl in Miami for the top-ranked Hurricanes, led by Gino Torretta, host the tough West Virginia Mountaineers in a Big East matchup. It's all next Saturday night, 7:30, right here on ESPN.
That's Ross Perot right there. That's my Ross Perot candidate.
30 yards.
I think Lee Corso said it in the studio today that he still feels like he's a candidate, and so do I.
Marshall Faulk, one of the candidates for the Heisman Trophy. And he's having to battle an Air Force defense that has been hard to figure out tonight. Pass complete for 12 yards. Darnay Scott will be upended just across the 40. 21 ticks left on the clock.
And they're going to use their last timeout.
Darnay Scott. Tackle number 3, Arlington McDonald.
Let's take a couple shots with Darnay Scott up top.
14 yards.
So there's a timeout. Let's take it with him. 19 seconds left until halfback, and halftime. The Aztecs by 1. Stop the clock with 19 seconds left. Mike, what do you look for? Trick play or just send somebody on a post or streak or what?
Just like you just said there, I'd send Darnay Scott, number 6, or Maxey, number 27. Just send them deep, and I have 19 seconds. I just keep pumping it up there and try to get it down the field for a field goal. They have so much speed that, you know, all you have to do is hit one. Even though Air Force will play in a little bit of a prevent defense, still pump it down the field.
It was the last timeout for the Aztecs. Air Force showing blitz, but they stay at home. Simpson gets by Lowry. Pass is thrown complete. Incomplete. Darnay Scott, the crowd thought, was bumped a little bit soon on the play. And I'm not so sure that they weren't right.
Well, Mike Rogers broke on the ball. Now, I don't know if he hit him too soon or not, but I'll tell you what, he broke on that route very nicely. Watch Darnay Scott. Is he just going to run a deep out? You're going to see Mike Rogers come into your picture. Yeah.
No, that's a well-timed hit. I'm close. I beg your pardon. Seconds left. Lowry just throws that one away. Ray Peterson was the closest man to it, but Peterson had good tight coverage. Now there are 6 seconds left.
You got two extremes of coaches here as you go into halftime. Al Ludenbill is going to be upset with the way his ball club has played. Fisher DeBerry on the other side of the field is going to go in and really feel good about the effort and the way his team played the first half.
San Diego State has almost seemed uninspired at times.
They have not played with a lot of emotion.
Should be the last play of this first half. And it's a draw play to Falk. And he will be wrapped up after a gain of only a couple. That's Chris Baker. So Marshall Falk with 66 yards in the first half. We'll take a timeout. It is the Delta Faucet Report immediately following. It appeared as though San Diego State was not playing with a great deal of emotion. You agree with that?
Well, I do agree with it, and I think the first 5 minutes in this second half is going to be very important for them to take over this game if they're going to win this football game.
Let's take a look at the first half stats, and these numbers tell a lot of the story. 17-15 total time as far as the Air Force Academy, and of course in rushing yardage, they have almost doubled what the Air Force or what San Diego State has done.
Well, that's important. And what happens to you offensively, you just all of a sudden when you get on the field, you just try to make something happen, and you're just too anxious.
Well, let's take a look at Marshall Falk in the first half, his best run.
Here's where he just breaks in the line of scrimmage. Nothing's open, skates to the outside, gets up some good yardage, and I look in the second half, they've got to get the football to Marshall Falk. Here's his stats. 12 rushes, 66 yards, 5.5 average. Clear?
And his ball club gets the football to open the second half of play, with Air Force having won the toss and taking the football as we started this evening. Maxwell takes it out to the 25-yard line. We asked Marshall Falk if it sometimes seems like the defense is moving in slow motion as he runs.
It just seems like sometimes when I have the ball, other people are moving in slow motion. They be moving too slow for me. You know, it just seems like I'm maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead.
He needs to get 2 or 3 steps ahead now in the second half.
Yeah, you're right. I think your point is very well made about the first 5 minutes of this second half of the ball game. Falk cuts it back. Nothing on the right, goes to the left. And he will have 8 yards in the play. It's Mike Rogers who got a hand on him to trip him up.
You just have to credit Air Force for the way they're playing defense. Cal McCombs, the defensive coordinator, has him guessing. See Mike Rogers, number 10, he knows that when you get Marshall Faulk in one-on-one land, he's very tough to bring down.
Number 40, Eldrick Hill, also with Mike Rogers breaking that defensive huddle. Second and short. Faulk to the left side. Has 5. And counted off at 8 as he is out to the 45-yard line. Bowers and James defensively for the Air Force Academy.
Good block by Joe Hines, number 66, to open up the hole, the left guard. See the block where he just comes off. He's still on the block. Opens up the hole for Marshall Faulk.
And did you see Liam Eady? He not only took his man out, he fell to the ground, and another Air Force Academy gentleman fell over him just because of girth. Faulk. Well, again showing that there's nothing inside between the guard and the center. He takes it sliding to the outside and gains 5. Armor defensively.
You talk about girth. Fisher DeBerry told me last year his nose guard got hurt because Carson Liamidi fell on him.
You know, we do all name teams, but Carson has to be all hair. I mean, he has to make our all hair team. Rumor has it Adrian Karsten will try that in a couple of weeks to be premiered on this show. Going to miss the first down this time by a couple of yards. Virgil Simpson on the outside. Virgil, the senior out of Houston, Texas, has had an excellent ball game tonight. Has a quarterback sack, a couple of hurries.
He's some football player. 6'1", 210 pounds, number 97. Virgil Simpson, very active.
But to play that position, he's about 20-25 pounds shy of what the guys normally are who play there.
Gives up weight, but not quickness.
You see the slant this time to the Air Force Academy. And San Diego State, I believe, well, I don't know. He's going to be very close on the first down. But you could see him slanting to the open side of the field, and San Diego State is really having trouble blocking it.
Told you it's a guessing game. San Diego State, watch the slant now of Air Force. See the nose guard, Chris Baker, beats the block of the center, and because they're slanting, it's hard for San Diego State to pick them up. They're moving. San Diego State's actually moving back off the ball a little bit to try to give them an advantage of finding which way they're slanting.
Mike, they got a second spot. It was enough for the first down, so a new set of downs as Mike Alexander comes out over the football. Little counter tray action this time with Pittman, who had come in the game spelling Marshall Faulk. The coaches say with Mike Alexander back after his injury, foot injury against UCLA, that they become a far better offensive line. Hines had been playing center, but they moved him back out to guard.
You know who's been silent tonight is Darnay Scott.
You're right.
Air Force done a nice job of containing Marshall Faulk, but they've also kept this man very quiet. No big plays to this point against the Air Force defense.
And maybe it's Carlton McDonald who has helped silence him. Going to go on top. And they are looking for Williams at the 1. Touchdown, Keith Williams.
Just talk about big plays, and they give one up.
44 yards. Trackus to attempt the extra point, try to make it a 14-6 ball game. One more look at the touchdown as you look at Fisher DeBerry. Lowry, his reaction, 44 yards to Keith Williams, 14-6, Aztecs. Trackus to kick it off after his ball club strikes. Air Force Academy, for the most part tonight, has made San Diego State a bunch of singles hitters, and all of a sudden, here comes the home run. Young in Washington back in a twin safety for the Air Force Academy, and this one is going to be taken, and stepping out of bounds at the 5-yard line is Washington.
And Ron, it wasn't a home run hitter that gets open. It's Keith Williams on the post route, and he's going to run right by Alex Armour, number 32. Here's the post route. He just a takeoff route all the way. Keith Williams gets behind Alex Armour. Alex Armour was trying to play the ball and looked like he lost it.
7 plays, 74 yards. As you look at Keith Williams. Falk, by the way, 32 yards on that drive and 5 carries, and now has a total of 95 yards. You should look at Armour on the sideline after having been beaten on that touchdown pass. Parisi takes it straight ahead. Boy, little mistakes like they just had occur by Washington stepping out of bounds at the 5. It just disjoints what you talked about at halftime as far as what you're going to do offensively. You can't do that down here.
Well, we talked about the first 5 minutes of the second half of establishing your plan, and that's what San Diego State is playing with, emotion. A little bit more emotion in this half.
I think you're right. With Parisi, not much there. Aztecs jumping around now, and you can see by this.
Al Luginbill, I'm sure, got their attention at halftime. Talked about the fact that they didn't play with much emotion the first half. They better crank it up if they have any desire to be the WAC champion. But you got to credit Air Force. I think Air Force has played a superb first half. Now let's see them get untracked here in the second half.
3rd down, and the line to make is the 15. Wants to throw, looking for his tight end, can't get it to him. That's Ramondo Stallings who grabbed a hold of him.
Barry Lamb, the defensive coordinator, and the crowd urging on the defense. Ramondo Stallings, 90, with a good pass rush on Jarvis Baker. Just beats the block of the guard.
Peter Wilkie was open across the middle. So McGinnis has to kick from his own end zone. Wobbly spiral. Peterson's going to run away from it and will come out of bounds on the near side of the field at the 45-yard line. 37 yards in the punt. Well, be sure to join Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and Joe Theismann tomorrow morning for television's Emmy Award-winning pregame show, NFL Game Day. They'll have all the previews and features, including history of John Elway's 2-minute drills and the Raiders revival. Then at 7 o'clock, the crew returns for the most complete NFL wrap-up and highlight show on television. NFL Primetime, all tomorrow, right here on ESPN. Lowry drills it over the middle. Late flag comes in as Simonik makes the catch. And again, the flag is thrown by the umpire. And it'll be offensive holding against the Aztecs. Al Luginbill saying, hey guys, we've got Mo going in our favor. And as Mike mentioned, a lot more jumping around on defense and what have you. And then something like this, it really takes the air out of the balloon for the moment.
They have so many weapons at 1st and 15 or 1st and 20. Shouldn't affect them much because they still throw the ball so well. And they have Marshall Faulk in the backfield. Chris Finch, number 67, the left of your screen, gets his hands around the head. And that looks like where the holding was called.
Well, they've had a tough time with Virgil Simpson, haven't they? Lowry's pass over the middle. That's complete to Faulk. Spins off one, gets by another, picks up another 4 yards. Chris Baker makes the stop on him.
Dangerous as an outlet receiver just over the middle. Mark Moody, number 36, had him covered in pretty good shape.
6 yards on the pass completion.
San Diego State, Ron, has their splits so tight in their offensive line. You can't blitz them up inside. You have to blitz them from outside. That's why Virgil Simpson's so effective coming from the outside.
8 receptions for him on the season. Lowry with the long throw, and that's complete to Peterson. Out of bounds just shy of midfield. So it'll bring a third down, and it looks like about 15, maybe 16 yards for the first.
Cal McCombs, the defensive coordinator of Air Force, wants to play a lot of zone tonight. You see him here giving the signal. Looks like he's leading the orchestra, but he wants 22 eyes on the football in front of him. He doesn't want to play a lot of man coverage where you got backs turned, and if the ball goes to Falk or out to Darnay Scott, you know, he wants 22 eyes playing zone, keeping the ball in front of him.
Well, let's take a look at it from the end zone this time. Lowry going to put it on top. Going for Marshall Falk at the end zone. Couldn't hold on. Mike Rogers was there with him, but Falk had it in both hands for a moment.
Mike Rogers from Goose Creek, South Carolina, stayed right with Marshall Falk step for step. Marshall Falk's behind him a little bit and almost held on to that football. See, he wears one glove there. His glove on his left hand. Almost holds on. Just not able to make the catch.
Let's ball to punt. Again, Bryant Watkins in a single safety for the Air Force, and here they come after him, and they got it. Block in the middle, picked up by McDonald, and he will score the touchdown. Rogers, I believe, is the man who blocked it, and McDonald has just been unbelievable on special teams.
Air Force needs now to go for 2 points to call their kicking team off and go for 2 points behind 14-12. Second in from the right on your screen, number 10, Mike Rogers.
And you know why, Mike?
Takes the ball right off the foot of the kicker.
And you know why? They went outside to double on McDonald, and they let Rogers come free. That's incredible. That's 8 blocks on the special teams of either field goals, extra points, or punts by Air Force in 8 games this year. 8 for 8. Omaha wants to throw the ball. He does, and he throws it short. Thompson is the man he wanted. So let's take a break. 8:37 left in the third quarter. New score, 14-12, San Diego State. Or San Diego State's lead is cut into Carlton McDonald's return of the blocked punt, officially 33 yards. McGinnis to kick it off. Ball's going to bound at the 1 and into the end zone, and Scott will let it go.
Let's take another look now. Gary Taylor's going to block. He's going to bounce back, and he's going to block out on number 3, which will open up number 10, Mike Taylor, to block the kick. Watch number 23, Gary Taylor. He comes outside, and also the fullback, the personal protector, is outside also, and that allows the block. You have to work at blocking kicks, and Air Force works every day on blocking the punts.
I guess what the Wyoming game is the only game that they did not get one in, but they still have a total of 8 over 8 games, as Falk is going to be wrapped up by Melzer at the line of scrimmage. And now momentum seems to have shifted to the blue and white of Air Force.
Rob Melzer is a 6'2", 235-pound junior middle guard. Now he's given away Carson Liamides, 340 pounds. The center, good size, 290 left guard, but yet he's still able, because of movement, to get penetration.
That offensive line for San Diego State starts at 275 for the low side and goes to 340 with Liamides. They swing it out to Falk. Hit behind the line, gets by 1, now 2, stiff arm, and will be tackled at the 24. Tim Brando, what do you have for us, my friend?
Ryan, Kentucky, when you take a look at them, they are a quiet 4-2 team. This is Pookie Jones' opening drive of the second half. He hits Alfonso Browning. It is 20-7 now, Bulldogs in the third.
So Bill Curry's ball club trying to come back and make a fight of it this evening in Southeastern Conference play. Our game 14-12. You can see the game clock running. This has been a very rapidly played contest. We have been playing barely 2 hours, and we're midway of the third period. Movement at the line, you can see the tight end, Semenuk, came out of his stance. Now he can move, but not in that direction. He can move to reset. But he was just coming out of a squat into a squat
Dead
to block.
Ball start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
Ron, if they stay in the same defense, if everything stays the same, the formation, the defense, Darnay Scott should be open for the little short throw, then let him run for the first down here, because it looks like with Marshall Faulk going in motion, they're going to give the little flat route to Darnay Scott on the outside. Let's see if they stay with the same thing.
Pressure up the middle, going to be hit, and he is sacked by Bowers. Jason Bowers. That's first one of the second half.
Boy, Cal McCombs has to be really proud of this defense. See, Jason Bowers moves up late and beats the block of Alex Semenuk, the tight end, number 87. Just ran inside of him to sack the quarterback. Great defensive call. Now, Air Force will get great field position, and you know they're going to come again.
Let's see if they come after him. Yeah.
Well, you know a success one time. If you're bleeding, you're going to come back after it.
Gets away a decent kick under the kind of duress he's been under. Watkins to the open side. There's a clip. And will be tackled at the 48-yard line.
Clipping on the return team, 15 yards, first down.
Having a penalty against Air Force.
I think that's got to be the clip right there, because it was the referee who was standing behind
15-yard penalty.
who threw the flag. So it's 14-12. The Air Force Academy trailing by a couple. They missed their extra point after having scored first in this ball game. Then they went for the two-point conversion a moment ago, and Onaha tried a halfback pass, and they failed with that. That's the reason for the 12 points. And the Air Force Academy has called timeout. So we'll take it with them. 6:01 left, third quarter, 14-12.
They're coming to me now. And they might even blocking this thing. My God, they're not blocking.
Little shock to San Diego State offense.
Baker comes down the line of scrimmage, pitches it to Onaha, and he's going to make it out to the 30-yard line. Johnson is there defensively. Mike, they're forcing just enough on the outside that even when the Air Force gets to turn the corner, they're turning it at a slant. You're normally not going to get hurt as badly that way, are you?
No, you use the sideline as the extra man, but the defensive back really has to get off blocks and make the play on the pitch.
Number 80, Clarence Hopkins, the senior out of Jackson, Mississippi. Back in at wide receiver. Disappears to the right of your screen there. He's the lone wide receiver. Baker to the open side of the field this time. Pitches it back. Washington has the first down, +5. Now 10 more. Out to the 47-yard line. Mike, let me ask you this. You said you were surprised by the lack of productivity by San Diego State. Do you think the length of time that they've had to sit over on the bench because of the drives by the Air Force Academy has also thrown them off stride?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt, because when you come back on the field, then all of a sudden you're thinking, I got to make something happen real quick, because if they go back on the field, we're liable not to get the ball back for 6 or 7 minutes. It plays around with your head a little bit. See, Peter Wilkie, number 85, really made a good block on that last play.
Peter's a senior out of Parker, Colorado. In fact, he had the big catch against San Diego State in last year's ball game.
He was a quarterback in high school and recruited to the University of Wyoming and then transferred here to the Air Force Academy. A wild, wild whack. I guess we should expect anything in this conference.
You're right. Marshall Faulk resting on the sideline. This is a great night for football. So comfortable here in Southern California. Temperature in the low 50s, upper 50s, low 60s in that vicinity. No wind. You can see movement by the Air Force Academy. That's going to cost them 5.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen an offensive lineman jump offside and high-five somebody else.
Well, maybe we should start an all high-five team as well.
Now, if it's on Air Force, they have to take that high-five back.
We were visiting with Fisher DeBerry yesterday, and his club had been out to SeaWorld. And Jarvis Baker, you can see Jarvis standing up there visiting with the official. And Jarvis' warm-up was kind of wet. And somebody said, Jarvis, what happened? And he said, Shamu got him. He was being used as an example and came close to the whale and got wet.
Dead ball, illegal procedure on the offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Boy, he doesn't like that call. I told you the offensive line they were high-fiving because I think they thought it was definitely on San Diego State.
So Fisher DeBerry's ball club penalized 5. You judge for yourself. Watch what happens.
There's Ramondo Stallings, number 90, jumping over, but he can get back.
You know what I think Fisher didn't see, though? The wide receiver, number 80. I just talked about Clarence Hopkins coming back in the game. Clarence had already left his stance and was well across the line of scrimmage. They fake the counter. Pass is thrown and too tall for Thompson.
Pass incomplete.
Taylor was defending, but it was just too tall.
You know, it shouldn't surprise anybody out there watching that Air Force is in this ball game, because the many times that they've beaten teams with better talent in bowl games and in regular season, they're just so meticulous with this offense. They don't make many mistakes.
That was a look of Scott Hufford hustling on the field, bringing the play, number 18. You just joined us at 14-12, San Diego State. 5:16 left to play, third period. Quick out pass, tipped at the line of scrimmage. Now here comes flags down everywhere. I believe Sean Smith, 99, junior out of Minatola, New Jersey, got a hand on that.
On the field.
But it's procedure against the Air Force Academy.
I believe they had 2 players moving at the same time, Ron.
You could see the wing started to move.
Wing back on one side's in motion. The other wing back's taking a drop step. And that's the call.
Declined by the Aztecs. 2 folks moving at once.
It's all right in Canada, but not here. Barry Lamb with a prayer on defense here.
Going to be third down, and the line that the Air Force needs to make is the 43 of San Diego. They have Bomaruski to the near side and running alone at the 5. is Rimsey, the right guard.
Well, they set this one up perfect. Ron Jarvis Baker rolled to the right. 76, Jim Rimsey, the offensive right guard. Watch the right guard. Center lays the ball on the ground. Jim Rimsey picks it up. San Diego State's right there, but they never expected the 76, 6'4", 280-pound senior to carry the ball.
Ramondo Stallings had him and shoved him out of the way.
First down.
So the Ruski brings up a 1st and goal at the 4-yard line for the Air Force Academy. They pitch it back. Omaha. Ball is on the ground, and San Diego State has picked it up. Was the play dead or what?
Well, there's no call yet.
No call yet from the officials. San Diego State ball. Darrell Evans recovered it.
Now they changed it, Ron. They're giving it back to Air Force.
Folks, I'm sorry. We got a clear signal that it was San Diego State's football.
The ball carrier was ruled down. 2nd down.
Battery's dead in his microphone. We can't hear him what he said. Watch the play of Abasi Onahal, number 24. Looks like he tried to stretch out with the football. Just drops the football clearly before he's down. Darrell Lewis recovers. I think they missed this one, Ron.
Yeah, I think you're right. They signaled San Diego State ball first, and then they came back and changed it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Al Luganbill on the sideline is really irate. I saw Lou Holtz today on TV. He gave a headlock to Tom Thamer, the referee from the East, trying to show about holding, but I don't think Al's going to get a headlock here.
They replayed it on the big screen here. That's the reason for the reaction from the crowd. As the partisan crowd from San Diego got to see it themselves, and they saw just what Mike described in the replay, and that is the fact that the ball popped out before he was down. But I'll tell you what else could have happened. The whistle could have blown on the field, which we were not able to hear because of the crowd. And if that's the case, then the play was dead, inadvertent or not. Boot on his hip, throws it incomplete. Wilkie, the intended receiver. Gary Taylor, defensive end.
Well, Jarvis Baker threw the ball right on the money here. Came back with the opposite play, faked the toss, now rolls. Peter Wilkie's coming across. Here's the throw. Perfect throw, just pretty well defended by Gary Taylor.
So it's 3rd down and goal. Ball is pitched, and touchdown Air Force Academy. Onaha.
Jarvis Baker made this play. Going down, pitched the ball, had the presence of mind to pitch the football. I think you have to go for 2 right here, Ron. It's 18-14. Here's a replay. Number 5, Jarvis Baker on his way down, pitches the ball out to Onaha, and he heads for the flag.
So the Air Force Academy calls a timeout, and let's take it with them. 4:01 left to play, 3rd period. 18-14. It is the Falcons on top.
How about if we go 40?
Got Barry Lamb on one side, Ron, talking strategy on his 2-point. What you do is you usually go back a year or 2 years and look at all the teams that Air Force has played and look at their 2-point plays. Usually you settle into a 2-point play that you like. So we'll see what Fisher DeBerry comes up with.
Well, the first one they tried, they gave the ball to Onaha, and he tried to throw to the tight end Peter Wilkie. That one did not work. So we'll see what their second most favorite is then.
Well, I think I'd come back with the same play you score on. I mean, they had success scoring. Al's still arguing about the fumble. But I'd come back with the same play that they scored the touchdown on.
A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, the plan.
Yeah, probably not a good thing to stay on that conversation too long.
Can't win it.
No, but that's not what I'm talking about. So here comes the Air Force Academy going for a couple of them.
Run the option to the left. Same play you scored on.
Cuts it in, and Baker will score the 2. Jarvis Baker with the 2-point conversion. Now, the most important thing for San Diego State is they got to forget about the fumble that wasn't and start playing football, because they got their hands full right now.
Ron, I think they came back with the same play they scored the touchdown on, but now Jarvis Baker's open on the option. They took the pitch away. Jarvis walks into the end zone. Fisher DeBerry, very excited on the sideline.
And Tim Brando, what do you have for us?
I've got some statistics for you, Ron. Eric Zaire is #1 in passing in the SEC. He goes 24 yards to Andre Hastings, who's #1 in receiving in the SEC. Garrison Hurst, who's leading in rushing in the SEC, 18 carries for 143 yards so far.
Very well-rounded effort by the Dogs tonight as they are winning handily. Our score, in case you just joined us, is 20-14. The Air Force Academy on top. One more look at that controversial fumble, or non-fumble as it were. The ball is loose before the knee hits. And the only other thing I could think of is that maybe a whistle did come, which we are not able to hear here.
Quite honestly, it looked like a horrible call.
Well, but you got to give the official benefit of the doubt on that maybe that did happen. But if it didn't, I agree with you. It was not a good one. That's Maxwell, who will make it to the 15-yard line, and only a couple on the return. Well, tonight's Toyota Leadership Award winners this week are from the Air Force Academy. Linebacker Grant Johnson. He carries a 3.85 in engineering science. Is an active member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and is the squadron computer officer. And for San Diego State, H-back Larry Maxey, he carries a 2.75 in criminal justice and a big brother to local elementary school children. And Toyota proud to donate $1,000 to each school's General Scholarship Fund on behalf of these athletes. Pittman off the right side, out of the 20 to the 22-yard line. Marshall Faulk on the far sideline.
It's unusual. Where you just had a long drive by Air Force and you're starting tailback Marshall Faulk, who is rested, should be rested. What is he doing on the sideline? Go deep. Hello.
On second down, again Pittman. And he dives forward for the first down to the 30. Adrian Karsten, what do you have for us?
Ron, two things quickly. First of all, Faulk is not injured. Secondly, Luganville got his guys together, sent him back on the field and said, look. He pointed at the board and he said, look at yards rushing. Air Force 213 to San Diego State's 105. They have doubled the Aztec offensive rushing output. And he says, if we don't change that, no way we win this game.
Ron, the only thing I can think of is that he's just trying to get a fresh pair of legs in there. That maybe Marshall Faulk is tired. But again, I can't explain the fact that he was on the sideline for a long period of time.
It's cool tonight. We just talked about, you know, that's a little hard to figure. Going up on top. In and out of Scott's hands. Couldn't hold on to it. And that was Carlton McDonald who was with him step for step.
That ball is thrown as well as you can throw it. David Lowry put the ball right on the money. You see Darnay Scott step ahead. Look at the ball right right where it should have been caught. David Lowry, a little frustrated.
Yeah, hard to throw that one any better than he did. 11 of 23, 114, and 2 touchdowns for Lowry. Pittman again. This is going to bring up a 3rd down.
Bill Stewart is the defensive line coach for the Air Force, and he has to be proud of the way his defensive line is hanging in there against the bigger offensive line of San Diego State.
And understand one thing, regardless of size, the kids from the Air Force, I've seen them too many times. You're not going to wear them down. They're going to keep coming at you. They bite you on the ankle late in the 4th quarter, but they will not quit. There is no quit in them. Pittman again is the tailback as they go shotgun formation. And the line to make is the 40. Pass is caught. McDonald just a little late in breaking on the pass play to Peterson. And San Diego State's going to pick up an awfully big 1st down.
Even though that's a long throw for David Lowry, it's open. And it's wide open because of the coverage and the way that Air Force is rolling to the other side. You see the long throw, but he's wide open. Ray Peterson, number 17.
Again. He breaks off a tackle, and here comes a late flag in, and Tim Brando, let's go to you.
Boston College, Ron, is 5-0-1 despite being outscored 29-7 in the 4th quarter. But in the 3rd quarter, Chucky Dukes finally puts the Eagles on top 10-7 at the Superdome against Tulane.
Boy, that young man's had an awfully good year. He's been an integral part of their offense as Falk checks back into the lineup. By the way, here's a note defensively for San Diego State. Terrell Steen's going to be out the remainder of the game with a sprained right knee. He's an outside linebacker who has played well tonight.
On the offense, 15 yards, repeat 1st down.
Blocking below the waist is the call. So now puts them back to the 26-yard line, 1st and 26. They just keep hurting themselves with penalties too, Ron.
Yeah, you're right. Clock running down. We're soon to be under 1 minute left in this 3rd quarter. Pressure from the outside. Pass is caught by Falk over the middle. At the 25, and he's all the way out to the 27-yard line. And again, it is Virgil Simpson on the pass rush. And he's been all over the secondary of the Aztecs this evening.
Marshall Falk is like an outlet receiver on this play. He's seen block. Now he lets go. He's an outlet receiver just over the middle. A little delay to the tailback. And then he's forced out of bounds by Jason Bowers.
Aztecs got 7 in the 2nd, 7 here in the 3rd. Pressure from the outside. Pass is thrown complete, and close to the 1st down was DeAndre Maxwell.
Number 13, DeAndre Maxwell.
When you move Marshall Falk in the backfield and you put him in motion, that just really stretches the defense. Look at the flat area out there. It's wide open again. DeAndre Maxwell, number 13, gets the football. Long throw for David Lowry, but Eldrick Hill makes the play, number 40, but it's wide open. They have that at any time they want to throw it.
7 different receivers used by San Diego State in this game tonight. 3rd down and short. Falk right up the middle. Boy, he gets tagged pretty good. Mark Moody.
Marshall Falk, the ball carrier.
Mark's a senior out of Makakili, Hawaii.
You know, it just looks to me like San Diego State has been frustrated tonight on offense. You know, Ron, as you watch them, and they got so many weapons, and I am impressed with this team. Big offensive line, Darnay Scott on the outside. You got the Heisman candidate Marshall Faulk inside, but Air Force has frustrated them tonight.
They did get the one big play to jump out here in the second half, which stunned the Air Force Academy, but the Falcons came right back. On a Ruski, no less. Faulk with a little skip step. Will have 5 yards and then goes down after gaining a couple more with Bowers hanging on.
It appears like the strategy of San Diego State is to wear down the smaller Air Force players, but you know, we mentioned how they're going to just keep playing hard this whole game, but the big line of San Diego State wearing down the front of Air Force has to be a strategy of Al Luginbill.
You can see that stat that we just put up for you. 12 games with 100 yards plus, as they will let the clock run on down. And that will be the end of the third quarter. The Falcons are still flapping their wings. They are on top, 20-14. We'll be back for the final 15 in just a moment. We're back for the final 15 minutes, 20-14, the Air Force Academy. Heavy underdogs in this ball game, on top by 6. Pitch comes to Scott. Turns the corner and gets about 8 more. That's Carlton McDonald who is holding on to him, but he's going to have the San Diego State first down.
Haven't been able to throw the ball successfully to Darnay Scott, so you get him involved running the reverse. A little bit of a pitch type play coming from the weak side. Not the reverse, but just a pitch out where he comes in motion as the wide receiver.
First down,
one of the things that the coaches talk about with Marshall Faulk as well is the fact that he is improving with every outing as a blocker. Also trips over the feet of his own lineman that time, and also Bowers is the man who shoved that lineman into him. Mark Moody also coming in to help make the play defensively.
Well, they've stopped that counter play every time that San Diego State has tried to run it. And the reason they're stopping is Jason Bowers, number 45, just as soon as he sees the pulling guard and tackle, he just slices inside and is able to get to Marshall Faulk before he gets started.
Larry Maxey comes into the ball game, replacing Ray Peterson. Air Force creeping up on the outside. Here they come with the pressure. Pass in the flat. He's caught by the man I was just talking about, Maxey. And he will be collared at the 30 by Armour.
It's tough to blitz a quarterback that just takes a 3-step drop. You try to collapse the pocket, watch the defensive line, bring in both outside backers, but it's just such a short drop that it's hard to get to him. Larry Maxey on the quick route outside, and just a pass completion to the outside.
You probably could see Faulk blocking on that play, helping his quarterback. But it is third down. And for San Diego State, they need 5. And he will not have it. About 1.5 yards shy. It's Eldrick Hill who has him in his grasp. Michael, you're in 4-down territory here.
I'm going for it. There's not even any doubt. I'm going for it.
Well, you got time to think about it because the Air Force Academy has a player shaken up.
I don't want any time to think about it. I'm going for it anyway.
Looks like Grant Johnson, the senior out of Yakima, Washington, is shaken up. He's one of the emotional leaders on this team. In fact, in the last 2 games, he's had 28 tackles. Can't afford to see him go out of the lineup right now.
I think what I'd do if I was Al Luginbill is go to that wing set where you get the extra tight end into the ball game and head Marshall Faulk in that area on that straight outside stretch play where you put Semenuk 87 and Ziegler 85 both in the ball game. Let's see if they bring both tight ends in.
Explain for those who don't understand all the terminology of football, exactly what you mean by a stretch play.
Stretch play is an outside dive where you'll send Marshall Faulk just on a slant play off the tackle, the right tackle side or left tackle.
And let's get a quick update from our friend Tim Brando.
Ron, Garrison Hurst continues to chalk up the yardage. In all, 22 rushes, 171 yards. This is his 16th touchdown of the year. He's got the cocktail party next week. He's got Auburn and Georgia Tech, all high-profile games remaining on his schedule.
Well, the Aztec is cheering his club on with a 4th down and a yard and a half. And wondering if his guy, number 28, Marshall Faulk, will get the football right here.
Let's see if they put the 2 tight ends on the same side.
4th down, San Diego State.
They are on the left side over here. 87 and 85 together.
Faulk has the 1st down as he spins off the 1st, takes it down to the 23.
San Diego State brought 3 tight ends into the game, put 2 tight ends here, and now there's the stretch play. He can cut it anywhere he wants to cut it, but it gets you an extra blocker out there. David Lowry at the handoff, helmets on helmets. He picks up the 1st down.
He had to change directions because it was Leo Meady right in front of him. Couldn't see around him.
Just hitch the wagon and foul.
Carson, 6'3", 340, has been over 400 pounds.
As Lowry dumps it off, and that is incomplete. Larry Maxey wanted a little pass interference, but I don't think so.
Well, I think I'd come back in with those 3 tight ends again, just bang away at this Air Force defense.
15th play coming up of this drive, so the Falcons of the Air Force Academy don't have a lock on long distance and long play drives, or number of plays, with this being number 15. Oh, what a move he puts in the outside. And the short tackle made by Eldrick Hill at the 15-yard line. And if he gets by him, there was a lot more running room.
Well, you're down in 4-down territory here. Reverse angle replay. Marshall Faulk on the tailback counter play. Here's the good move on Alex Armour, 32. Now the good tackle by Eldrick Hill, number 40. But I tell you, you have to figure they're going to take 2 downs here.
8 minutes on this drive. Faulk hit at the line of scrimmage. In fact, I don't know if he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Penetration, Bowers, and also 66, Chris Baker. Faulk shaken up on that play. Boy, the trainers were off the bench like a flash. Before that play, he had 25 carries, 117 yards. In fact, with that play, 25 for 117. His average per carry, normally 7.1. You could see tonight 4.7. So the Air Force Academy holding him under what he averages. As you take a look at Andy Tracus, who will... Tracus tries to knock home a 33-yarder. Got plenty of distance, and he's good. So Tracus from 33. Let's take a break. 11:41 left in the ball game. 20-17, Air Force Academy. Well, that's the story. The Air Force Academy underdogs by 2 touchdowns at least, if not more, in this football game. They're up by a field goal right now. And the big play on that drive that they went in front on was Aruski. Jim Rimsey, the right guard, picking up the ball that was left in the ground. Washington 1 yard deep. He'll return it. Adrian Karsten, let's get an update from you.
Ron, the word on Marshall Faulk, just a hip bruise, commonly called a hip pointer. Now, if you take a look, he doesn't wear very thick pads on his hips. He says that helps his lateral movement and consequently his speed. If you take a shot like that, you're going to be out for only about a series, is what they're telling me.
Well, we'll see if they stick to that, Adrian, simply because Mike was making the point during the timeout against a team like Air Force. They might come up with a 7 or 8 minute drive. So I have a feeling they'll use him, if possible, the next time that the Aztec offense is back on the field. Baker pushes it toward the corner. Washington will have only one. Tim Brando, let's send it back to you.
I'm going to take you to Cedar Rapids, Iowa. First ever regular season meeting between a nation's #1 and 2 Division I AA teams. Jay Johnson to Kenny Shedd for the Panthers of Northern Iowa. And down in the Unidome there in the fourth quarter, it's a wild one, 27-26.
Boy, they're jumping at the Unidome tonight. 53 points. Everybody getting their money's worth.
Straight ahead with the fullback, Parisi. By the way, the report, Pastorelli left the ball game in the first half. He injured a knee. We still have not been confirmed or given a confirmation that he would not return, but we would almost assume so because Parisi has gone the distance since then, number 39. Obasi Onaha comes back into the lineup, replacing Chris Washington. Third down and a very big one for the Air Force Academy. Play action. Puts it on a hip, looks for the tight end, and he missed it. Wilkie had come open. Tracy Mayo applying pressure.
He was covered well by the San Diego State defense, but it was a throwback to Peter Wilkie the whole way, and San Diego State really played him and just had him covered like a blanket.
Chris McInnes, his 5th punt of the night. 17, Ray Peterson, the redshirt freshman from New Orleans. End over end on this kick. Away from Peterson, now bounces away from him again, still chases it down, and will pick it up at the 20-yard line. 54 yards in the kick and 5 on the return. So let's take a break. 10:01 left to play in the ball game. The Falcons by 3. He's got 117 yards rushing tonight. 65 of those have come after he was hit at least one time. Outside with no backs, and they got Scott free. Maybe a very good thing it was thrown behind him.
I think with Marshall Faulk out of the ball game now, Darnay Scott has to pick up the offense. Little quick slant by David Lowry.
And 13 yards on the pass completion.
Clock runs with now under 10 minutes to play in the ball game. 20-17, the Air Force Academy on top. Wayne Pittman, who replaces Faulk, the ball carrier, and the sophomore from San Diego will make it to the 40 before Stephen Russ will tackle him. And back into the ball game comes Faulk.
Well, you couldn't play that play any better than Air Force played it. Their defensive line, linebackers, everybody kept their shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. Just made the play. There was no place for Wayne Pittman to run.
Second down with the line of scrimmage just across the 40. Ball goes in motion. You see the automatic blitz come in. Pass to the sideline, caught by Scott. He got the individual coverage, and he pushed out shy of the 50, but it's enough for the Aztec first down.
All night, San Diego State has had this pass. Darnay Scott can come off and hit here because everybody's giving him that area with the motion. Marshall Faulk out of the backup. See, the pass is very tough to throw because you're throwing it across the field, but it's so wide open, you ought to take it more.
The Scots had 4 catches tonight for 44 yards. Off in the running play. Skates along, takes it to the 45 before Eldrick Hill grabs him. And the thing for San Diego State, they just need some patience here. They got all the time in the world as the clock runs with 8:35 to play.
Ron, another good tackle by Eldrick Hill, number 40. Very sure tackler at the free safety spot. As you look at the rushing yardage, Air Force 219 yards, San Diego State 148.
The one thing also that has to go through Al's mind is the fact that I wouldn't want to have to kick a field goal under pressure situations against this Air Force team because they block them as well as they do punts. You need 7. Pressure from the backside, and he's going to be sacked by Harrison. Johnny Harrison, a sophomore from Sunrise, Florida. And Mike, I would suggest to you one of the reasons for success by Air Force, the second line people have done a great job in reserve.
You're right, Ron, but what happens here is they're going to try to show the hitch, then the takeoff. But it just takes too long for David Lowry to throw the hitch and go. You see the hitch? Just couldn't get it off. He had the inside receiver on a takeoff.
Harrison is a man who plays behind Virgil Simpson. So it's 3rd down. 13 yards for the first. Lowry, far side of the field, tipped, and it is intercepted by the Air Force Academy. That's Armour. Alex Armour, and I believe McDonald tipped it.
Very well covered. See Cal McCombs, the back of Cal McCombs. He's got to really be proud of this defensive football team tonight and his staff. Carlton McDonald, number 3, will get his hands on the football first. Tip, Alex Armour, number 32, picks it off.
Boy, Armour did a great job. Watch this, of keeping his feet in bounds after the ball is tipped and he makes the intercept. Watch this. Watch it. He looks down and
becomes a receiver.
Yeah, yeah. Only had to have one, and he got both of them in. That's about as fancy as you're probably going to see the Air Force Academy get as we go back to Tim Brando.
Ron Garrison-Hurst's evening is over, and he has outrushed all of San Diego State, not just Marshall Faulk tonight. 171 yards on 22 carries, his 16th touchdown of the year. With only 40 seconds remaining, the Dogs leading Kentucky 40-7. He'll get Florida next week in Jacksonville.
Ron, I'm sure with the way Garrison-Hurst has played, and Gino Toretta 17 for 28, 249 yards, 3 touchdowns today, the comparisons are going to start coming.
Yeah, I think you're right. Straight ahead with the give, and that one was perilously close to being a misconnect as far as the handoff as he rode the fullback up into the line, and Parisi was grabbed as soon as he got there.
6:26 on the clock. San Diego State has all 3 of their timeouts left. The Air Force team has 1 timeout left.
See that defense asking for the crowd to get in it. That's Glover. Wants to throw. Tight end is covered. Baker will be tackled by Johnson. They tried that same throwback to the tight end.
Peter Wilkie, number 85, the tight end. He's going to be covered again. They're going to try to get the ball over here to Peter Wilkie on the out route. Because action goes away. Now the throwback to Wilkie, but you see how much he's covered. They have 2 players on him. Tracy Mile, number 58. Chris Johnson, 15.
Good shot of McGinnis, and he fumbles the snap and is going to be tackled at the 35-yard line. For a team that is so good on special teams, that is really hard to believe.
It looked like a floating snap. It looked like it went to the left a little bit. Let's take a look at it. Looked like it drifts a little bit to the left. Still catchable. Now you're in trouble.
And of all the places that you don't want to miss a punter as he moves forward, if you center it high or high right, that's fine because that's the direction he's moving as a right footer. But high left takes him totally out of his motion and momentum.
A little floater, looks like a knuckleball.
5:20 to play in the ball game. San Diego State down by 3. Ball hit from behind as he tried to get behind his blockers, and it's Virgil Simpson, the senior from Houston.
I know when you pick a player of the game, and I'll tell you what, Virgil Simpson has been all over the football field. And Marshall Faulk mentioned that to Adrian Karsten and I the other day. We were sitting there. He said, you just watch a film. He dominates the whole game.
Good look at Virgil, number 97. Played at Reagan High School. Receivers to cover, drills it away, and complete for the short gain to Scott. Now it's going to be 3rd down, San Diego State.
Well, that's that play they've had all night, but it looked like David Lowery wanted him to take off. You see, he's talking to Darnay Scott. They had to have a bust in that play because he was wide open from the start, but he didn't throw him the football till a little bit later. Looked like he wanted him to take off.
From the backside by Simpson, and he chases him down, and it is incomplete. Scott working against McDonald, but it was all caused by number 97, Virgil Simpson.
What a football player. Virgil Simpson, 97, coming on the blitz, beats the block of the tight end. Now it's a foot race. David Lowery tries to get the football off, but Virgil Simpson has the back of his jersey and forces the field goal attempt.
Well, now the point that I made a moment ago, this is going to be an attempt from the 39-yard line, a 49-yarder. Air Force is also very good at blocking field goal and extra point attempts. Ball is down, plenty of distance, and he is no good. Off to the right. Wow, let's catch our breath. 4:25 left in the ball game. The Falcons by 3.
Goes the offensive coordinator now, Luganville, going over with the offensive line. Some adjustments in case when they go back in the ball game. 4:25 on the clock.
Pitches the ball. Omaha gonna be hit and dropped for a loss. 58, Tracy Mao. And Chris Johnson also outside as the Air Force Academy tries to take it out and burn as much time as they can.
I'm not so sure, Ron, that after the next play that I wouldn't start using my timeouts. It's 4 minutes and 4 seconds to go. And they throw the ball so well and they put it up that they can stop the clock with their passing game. But I wouldn't let Air Force keep this ball too long.
Aztecs have all 3 of their timeouts left. And this game has huge implications as far as the Holiday Bowl is concerned. Play action, now quarterback draw. And Baker still on his feet. Better put the ball away. And let's go back to Tim Brando.
Ron, it's been a day for narrow escapes for a number of the top 25 teams. 5-0-1 BC, finally getting it done against Tulane. They were trailing at the half. They're now leading 17-7 down in the Dome in Nolens.
10-point bulge now. I'm sorry?
I was going to say a couple miles from Tim Brando's home.
Well, a little more than that, but maybe the home of his heart. About to go under 3 minutes to play in this one. Option play. Pitches it back. Banks holds on to the football. He will not have the first down as Damon Pierre comes up defensively. Pierre has had a marvelous ball game tonight.
He really has. Now it looks like San Diego State's going to spend their first time out.
2:51 left in the ball game. So let's take a break. 3-point lead by the Falcons. We'll be right back to San Diego. Diego State. As you look at Chris McInnes, Lou Yeager is the man handling the long snaps. Got to get a good one here. He does. McInnes' kick, a wobbly spiral, very returnable. From the 30, breaks off one tackle, and I mean great coverage by the Air Force Academy. They will have him lose 5, and it's the man who snapped the ball, Lou Yeager, who makes the tackle.
Well, Ron, now if you're San Diego State, you're 2 players that have to produce at this point with 2:41 on the clock. It's 28 Marshall Faulk and Darnay Scott, number 6. You expect them to make plays.
Numbers on Lowry, 18 of 32 for 180 yards. He had only had 55 in the first half. He's got 125 here in the second half. 2 touchdown passes, 1 each half. Pressure from the outside. Pass to Faulk. He will catch it and get out of bounds just shy of the first down. Bowers pushes him out, and it stops the clock with 2:34 left.
I'd be surprised if they don't look for Darnay Scott, Marshall Faulk on every play, because they're their home run hitters. And they have enough time to run the football and throw it. It's 2:34 on the clock. It just doesn't have to become a pass game. Gets it away to his tight end, Simonik. Now let's see. Nope, they get to see he was down. And it's Curtis Sutton who was holding on to his ankle. Curtis Sutton is the junior from Gilbert, Arizona, who is only 19 years of age. He won't be 20 until after the new year comes. I wonder why the clock stopped, though, with 2:18 if they calling the quarterback down, because
his knee went down.
Okay, he's down, but the clock stopped. You got to have a concern if I'm Fisher DeBerry right now. Then what happened to the clock?
That's what he's asking about. They're pointing at the saying that the clock.
Yeah, the clock stopped. I think they thought it was the pros here. He has to be arguing that at least 5, 6, 8 seconds should have went off that clock.
36,892.
Adrian, can you give us an answer here?
Yeah, I'm right in Fisher DeBerry's ear. As a matter of fact, he's complaining he wants 4 seconds back on the clock. He just says every second counts for the head linesman here, Ron.
You mean 4 seconds off the clock, 4 seconds more?
Correct, I'm sorry.
Okay, so, and they did take, they took a timeout because the board now shows that San Diego State has only 1 remaining. And that was, good shot, guys, from the end zone camera there, because you could see the official making an excellent call as the quarterback's knee was on the ground. That's the reason the pass was not allowed. 2:18 to play. Air Force Academy 20 and San Diego State 17. Huge underdogs coming into the stadium, playing here in their own backyard. And this one is one that the Aztecs have got to come up big on. 3rd and 7.
That's a pass to Darnay Scott over here in the flat.
Lowry gets it away. Caught by Scott and driven back. Now let's see where they mark him down. McDonald on the hit.
Say, that's been pitch and catch all night on that play. When Marshall Faulk goes in motion, he's wide open. Now I think you bring both tight ends in, put them on one side, run Marshall Faulk, get the first down.
Clock runs under 2 minutes to play in the ball game.
Quarterback sneak for Marshall Faulk.
Hands it to Faulk. They almost collided. Virgil Simpson again. Oh, he's been everywhere.
Boy, it's a tough call here because they reversed out, and David Lowry actually runs into Marshall Faulk. He trips coming away from the line of scrimmage, and Virgil Simpson, number 97, just seals this one.
So the Air Force Academy gets the football. 1 minute and 35 seconds left to play, and the senior from Houston getting a hug from all of his teammates, and well deserved.
Strange call, Ron, on the 4th down. Good penetration by Air Force.
Antone Banks going straight ahead. Almost a little surprised at the pitch there.
San Diego State still has one timeout, so they want to use that.
Now Marshall Faulk having what a lot of running backs would be, well, a decent night, over 100 yards, 12 straight for him, but the Air Force Academy stopped him in big chunks. Not even 5 yards a carry tonight. His season average 7.1. As Banks goes straight ahead, that will be the first down, and there's not much that the Aztecs can do right now as Glover makes the tackle. Well, tonight's Visa players of the game are for the Air Force Academy, defensive outside linebacker Virgil Simpson. 3 solo tackles, 1 sack, and I don't know how many hurries. And for San Diego State, Marshall Faulk, 156 total yards tonight, 120 rushing. As part of their continuing effort to further the development of amateur athletics, Visa proud to donate $1,000 to each of these universities and $1,000 to the U.S. Olympic team on behalf of these athletes. They put up a little roadblock as far as the jaunt to the Heisman Trophy that Marshall Faulk has had, I believe. Mike?
Well, I think they've opened it up for discussion now. And like I said before, we had the debate, 2 debaters on Garrison Hurst and Marshall Faulk, and Ross Perot, Gino Torretta from Miami.
So let's update the standings. This one in 50 seconds will show San Diego State at 3-1 with Hawaii, and Air Force will go to 4-2 unless something really strange happens.
Well, Hawaii's playing at home tonight against Nevada, Las Vegas. They become in the hunt.
Clock now whistled in, and there's nothing that San Diego State can do about this one. For Al Luginbill, it's got to be an extreme disappointment. And on the other side of the field, we mentioned about Fisher DeBerry and the fact that he probably understands the parameters as a head coach, and that is the fact that the kids that he's going to get to work with year in and year out, and does a better job of it probably than anybody in the country.
You just saw a picture of Virgil Simpson congratulating Cal McCombs. What a great feeling.
Fumble the football. San Diego State has recovered with 13 seconds left. So let's hold up the obit here for 13 seconds.
Your Air Force, you got to back up and guard the goal line now, because you're going to get a couple missiles thrown down the field.
Taraj Smith came up with the recovery. As slim as the chances are, there is still a chance as far as the Aztecs are concerned.
Well, this is amazing. The ball squirts out to the left side. You're supposed to be able to protect the football with the quarterback sneak.
San Diego State had to get a player off the field quickly. They had 12 on as the substitute had just come on the field. Lowry retreats, and like Mike said, he's going to throw it for all the gusto. Tip in the air and incomplete with 5 seconds left.
You got to throw it again. That's exactly what you want. You want a receiver to go up like Darnay Scott and to tip the ball, and then for another receiver to come down with it.
I'm not so sure on this play if I were Fisher, if I wouldn't even put one in the end zone. I'm talking about a player. Even if they do tip it and catch it.
Well, he'd like to build a fence right now on the goal line.
Lowry, 20 of 35, 195 yards and 2 touchdowns.
These are 2 good football teams tonight. Played hard. 2 well-coached football teams.
Lowry incomplete, tipped by Curtis Sutton, and the celebration for the Air Force Academy begins on the field. Once again, the final score, Air Force Academy 20 and San Diego State 17. Stay tuned for the Residence Inn College Football Scoreboard, which follows next. For Mike Gottfried and Adrian Karsten, I'm Ron Franklin saying good night from San Diego, California. Now, let's go to Chris Fowler and the studio.